Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will recap a movie called Flower in the Attic, released in the year 2014. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The story begins in a Pennsylvania suburb. Christopher and Corinne live with their 4 children, Chris, Kathy, and the twins Carrie and Corey. They have a wonderful family. Christopher has returned from a long trip to work with gifts for everyone. Every child is fortunate to have such a kind and caring parent. Christopher has been promoted to the position of vice president at his company. Everyone is delighted with the promotion. The next day, the family organizes a surprise party for Christopher to celebrate his promotion. Everyone hides as Chris hears a car arrive, thinking it's Christopher, but it's actually a police officer. The police informed Corinne that her husband had died in an accident. After their father's death, the family was in heavy debt. 4 months later, Corinne tells Chris and Kathy to move in. Corinne's wealthy parents in Virginia, Chris and Kathy want to help and remain. Corinne clarifies. They're in debt, and the bank will seize everything. Corinne is eager to depart. She also tells them their last name isn't Dolan-Ganger but Foxworth. Corinne's wealthy parents in Virginia, Chris and Kathy agree on it. That night, Corinne and the children leave for Virginia and walk to Foxworth's home. It is the first time the kids see their grandparents. Olivia welcomes them, although unhappy. She lets them in. Olivia tells the children to keep quiet while entering their room. Olivia asks Corinne if the children have any hidden illnesses or defects. Corinne says no, her kids are perfect. Olivia forbids Kathy and Chris from sleeping together. Corinne tells Olivia they need separate rooms. Olivia declines. She says it's the only room her kids can hide from his grandpa Malcolm. Olivia leaves after giving more rules. Chris asks his mother to explain their presence to his grandfather. Corinne admits she did something to anger her father, Malcolm, who removed her from his will. Corinne assures the kids that she'll win Malcolm back soon. The next day, Olivia provides food for the kids. She takes the twins to the attic to play. She tells them to hide in the attic every last Friday of the month while the servants clean. Children explore the attic after Olivia departs. Chris builds his siblings a swing. Kathy worries about their situation. Chris advises her to ignore Olivia and trust their mother. Corinne pays a visit to her children that night, and the twins cry about leaving home. Olivia enters the room after hearing the disturbance and tells Corinne to keep the kids quiet. Olivia then instructs Corinne to remove her shirt and show off her lashes. Olivia declares the children to be an abomination. The kids then discover how Olivia treats rule breakers in her home. The next day, Corinne provides the kids with paint and paper to decorate the attic. Corinne adds that Olivia has claustrophobia and rarely visits the attic. During this period, the children discover that their father was Malcolm's younger half-brother. The kids are a product of incest. Their parents chose to elope after falling in love. Malcolm was enraged, and as a result, he removed Corinne from his will. The two then decided to keep the truth from their children. Chris then assures his mother that he understands and will always love her. Corinne's visits to her children become less frequent as the days pass. Kathy points out that their mother has not yet visited them in a week. Kathy then accidentally runs into Olivia while obtaining water for their paints. She tells Olivia about their powers and explains what they were doing in the attic. Olivia then accuses them of having incestuous relationships. Kathy is taken aback. Olivia then warns that the males in their family know all about wickedness. The kids hide in the attic when the maids arrive to clean their room on the scheduled day. Olivia gives Kathy some flowers for the attic's fake garden before she joins her siblings. A few days later, Corinne finally sees her children and gives them many gifts. Kathy approaches her mother and asks questions about where she has been all this time. Corinne claims to have been spending more time with Malcolm. Impatiently, Kathy asks her mother why she hasn't introduced them to their grandfather. Malcolm only forgives Corinne since she never told him about her children with Christopher. She then warns them that she will never allow them to meet their grandfather, especially if she wants to be included in his will again. As time goes on, Corey expresses how much he misses his mother. Kathy urges him to believe she's his mother for the time being. Months pass and the kids spend their holidays in the attic. Kathy and Chris make gifts for the twins as well as their grandmother. When Olivia pays a visit to the kids that day, they show her a giant Christmas card they made. Olivia only stares at the card and walks out of the room with tears in her eyes. Kathy is upset and goes to bed angry. On Christmas, Corinne brings an abundance of gifts for the children. She then informs them that there will be a party in the house that night. Kathy asks if they can come, and while she is hesitant at first, she agrees. Corinne's only condition is that they remain hidden at all times. They are placed in a cabinet to view through the rear. Chris and Kathy witness their grandfather handing Corinne a fabulous necklace as a gift that night at the celebration. Then later, Kathy and Chris see her mother flirting with her lawyer, Bart Winslow. He expresses his eagerness to begin his life with her, just the two of them. Kathy is upset and returns to their room, but Chris stays behind to investigate the place further. Corinne afterward checks on her children. When she doesn't see Chris, she panics and lashes out at Kathy. Corinne slaps Chris and threatens to lash everyone else if this happens again. In the morning, she says sorry for everything she did. She manipulates her children into remaining a little longer so that they can inherit everything. After a year, Kathy notices Chris looking at his adult version. Later that night, Kathy tries on a piece of undergarments given by her mother. Chris steps in suddenly, startling her. Olivia then appears and accuses the two of committing horrific crimes. The children dispute her charges, but Mom refuses to listen. Instead, she intends to punish Kathy by cutting off her hair. But Chris stops Olivia. The following day, when Kathy wakes up, tar is all over her hair. After failing to remove it, she decides to have her brother cut her hair instead. During this time, Chris becomes aroused by his sister. He says he thinks she's attractive, but he throws his thoughts aside, cuts her hair hastily, and walks away humiliated. Kathy urges Chris to dance with her once her hair grows out. The two fall into bed and flirt before being interrupted by the twins. Chris and Kathy escape the house and swim in a nearby lake. Corinne eventually appears and informs the children that she is married to Bart. Frustrated, the elder children accuse their mother of abandoning them. They inform her that no number of presents can compensate for their lost time. They were only intended to spend one night in the attic. One morning, Olivia brings donuts for the kids and tells them it was a gift from their mother. The twins hurry to eat the donuts, despite Olivia's warning that the delicacies are bad for their health. After that, Corey became ill. Kathy informs Olivia and Corinne that Corey is ill, but they stand still. Kathy accuses Corinne of not loving her children, leading Corinne to slap her. On the other hand, Kathy has had enough and slaps her back. She demands her mother take Corey to a hospital, threatening revenge if she does not. Later, Corinne visits her children and shares the heartbreaking news that their little brother died of pneumonia and had already been buried. Corey's death has devastated the children. They are afraid for their lives and decide to leave. They try to steal as much as they can from the house that day as preparation. While looking for goods to steal, Chris discovers that their mother has left the house and their grandfather died 7 months ago. He also notices Olivia brushing her wig, although she is bald. During this point, Chris coughs accidentally, alerting Olivia to his presence. He returns to their room and shares his findings with his siblings. They also discover the poison in the donuts they got killed Corey. Olivia appeared out of nowhere and begged Chris to give her his copy of the master key. Olivia tries to beat Chris when he refuses. Chris collapses to his knees, unable to fight back, and Kathy attempts to do the same. Chris restrains Olivia and instructs his siblings to go to the attic. Olivia follows and catches up with the girls. Chris enters the attic at the same time and closes the door behind him. Olivia, who has claustrophobia, freezes in place. Olivia informs them that their own mother, not her, poisoned them. The children leave her and continue their getaway. They escape the house by climbing from the attic with a rope. They come across the man named Butler shortly afterward, and he tells them to stop. After finding that they are Corinne's children, the butler assists them in leaving. The kids board a train going for Florida. During the train ride, the children have never felt more alive. Their monster mother did all this thing to kill their children to begin her new life. But Kathy decides to take revenge on her mother. This movie ends here. We see it in the next part.